Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Disc Golf Examiner. Today, we're bringing you coverage from the 2023 Butler County Disc Golf Classic, sponsored by Innova Disc Golf. I'm your host, Brian, joined today by two of the elite players on the card. We got Mark Fedorenko and Tony Reiss. Guys, how's it going?
It's going good, Brian. How are you doing?
Doing very well. Glad to have you guys with us today. I think the round has been going great so far. We have Joel, who was last year's winner, currently in the lead. And I think we have a very close race for second.
Yep, we have Tony and Clay tied at 7 under going into the back nine, and I'm just trying to catch them.
And we want to say a very special thank you to our sponsor for today's event, the Butler County Tourism and Convention Bureau. Visit butlercounty.com.
Alrighty, Tony, what do we got for hole 10 here?
All right, hole 10, we have a 605-foot par 4, which you got two gaps off the main tee. You either take the straight left gap, which I think leads you in a pretty good position, or you take the right gap and hope you get a skip up to the left. You want to land somewhere right about here, which is going to give you a straight shot to the basket. There's a lot of trees here that you're going to try to miss. If you get through it all, this is one of the flat greens we got here. So it's really about getting as far up and to the left on this hole as possible and hoping you can see a gap to the basket. So I'm actually going to throw a forehand here because I struggled hitting this left gap. I'm going to throw a forehand down the middle and hope to skip up left. So I throw it exactly how I wanted it to and just didn't flare. It just caught a root or some kind of hill. I think Joel's going to show you that straight gap here.
Yeah, he's going a little bit of a stable destroyer on a little flex. Trying to miss that. I think he catches that last tree all the way through the gap, which if you're going to hit one, that's the one to hit because he still makes it to the top of the hill. He'll have something. He'll be looking at something to get to the basket.
And what are you throwing here, Mark?
I'm throwing something a little flippier distance driver, trying to go up the main gap there. And just like the previous days, I get it just a hair too low, but I hit the gap the whole way and I'll have something looking at it.
Yeah, it was looking really good if it was a foot higher. Yep. Clay going with a roller.
Yeah, he catches just a hair of a root right on the right side there, but still makes it to the top of the hill. Pretty good set of drives, all things considered.
So he's going to have this little bit of a hill left to get up and over with. And just absolutely laces that little anhyzer. Wow.
Great. Flexes all the way through, sneaks through the right side, gets past those last two big guardian trees, and leave himself with a medium distance circle one putt. And from where he was, that's an incredible shot.
Joel looking to take the little anhyzer flex and just catches an early tree. Yeah, it's going to be a scramble from there.
Yep. I'm looking to follow Joel's shape, but just pull it a little bit further right.
It's looking good.
I get exactly what I thought I wanted and catch the last tree that I could hit on that fly. I'm looking at about a 45-foot putt, which
It's not bad.
Not going to complain about it after hitting a tree.
No. So I got a little straight shot here, but these trees are just kind of pinching me off. So I had to throw like a hyzer flip with a faster disc and just never got it to turn over. So I'm going to land at the bottom of the hill where I've been the last 2 rounds. So shouldn't be that difficult of an up and down, but there's still some trees to miss. Just like here with Joel. I think Joel's going to go with this little flex gap we can see. Yep. And
yeah, it's a good scramble for a look at par there for Joel. The bottom of the hill here, do you feel like you have a lot in the way, or does this feel like a pretty stock, consistent shot for you?
It's a pretty stock. Like you have one tree really that you need to miss. And if you miss, the miss is just to keep it out right like I did. So not too hard to get up and down there.
Yeah, it looks like a wall of trees, but it's not incredibly thick as I just let that putt limply fall out of my hands. I'm trying to run that and pretty much embarrass myself trying to look like I'm running that.
Yeah, Clay sneaks that one in. A little left, but it catches because it was running out of steam. As I was joking with him, telling him there was no pictures on the scorecard there.
Yeah, he goes with the shortest drive, but look, is the only one of us who ends up with a legitimate birdie look from circle 1.
Yeah, it's a hole you want to get, but it's just like a scramble birdie if you can get up and down. So yeah. He did it better than us.
Yeah, definitely a hole where a 4 doesn't feel horrible, but one of the few holes where a bogey actually starts to feel pretty bad, assuming you can get cleanly off the tee.
Yeah. All right, hole 11. What we got, Mark?
Hole 11 is a monster. It says 855 feet, but this par 5 plays way longer than that. It's 3 full shots, starting with this tee shot down this tunnel here. You're looking to hit something pretty hard with a little bit of hyzer flip, sneak through this gap, and despite the way the drone's flying, you actually want to finish a little bit further up and right on the fairway. You have this gap and a gap on the right, just essentially trying to throw as hard as you can on this second shot from an uphill slope to land where the good second shots are going to land right about here, leaving you with about 300 feet uphill, again to this beautiful stone wall built up green. Again, another green where rollaways are aplenty, and a par on this hole feels good. A birdie on this hole is going to take 3 incredible shots to not have a putt, and it's going to take 3 good shots, and you're going to have to make a 40-foot putt just to have a shot at it.
Yeah, and the theme of this course, as you can see for the par 5s, you have a gap and you have to hit it. So it's a fair gap. Clay just lets go a little early, so it's going to be a struggle.
Yeah, fortunately, he kicks forwards a little bit and doesn't go into the very bottom of the valley.
Yeah, and I'm just throwing something straight as possible, trying to hit that dirt and get to that.
Is that another one of those flippy destroyers?
That's a Wraith. That's a Halo Wraith that's been in the bag for about 4 years. So it's seen its day. And Joel going with the Halo Destroyer here and just absolutely pumps that thing.
Beautiful flight. Gets the good skip off of the dirt where the grass isn't. He's going to be loving that position.
And what are you throwing here?
I'm throwing my flippy lightweight destroyer, and I'm just jumping for joy because it's the first day I haven't been at the bottom of the valley. Get all the way out up and through the gap, and I'm very happy with that tee shot.
I will say, out of your hand, it looked high. You were really challenging the ceiling there.
Challenging the ceiling or misfiring? I'll take whichever one you want to describe it as.
Yeah. So as you can see, Clay's still trying to get out that gap off the tee. Kind of gets a little bit of a kiss here. Pushes forward, though. Any distance is great because it's so far. So
yeah, but unfortunately, the rain, they weren't able to quite mow this as short as folks would love. But it's a little, all the grass is grabbing thickly here.
Yeah, and I just picked up the Wraith I threw and was like, yep, I'm just going to chuck this as far as I can. So I just kind of turned it over a little bit too much, and I'm going to be on this left side, which is not very appealing.
Joel going with the forehand roller with something pretty stable. Lays it down pretty late. It's like a lot of the rollers tend to do here. It catches a little bit of the root, takes it off the angle that he's looking for, and he's left with a longer second shot than he wants.
You're going with the roller here, and that looks absolutely perfect.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that shot. Little, maybe a hair pinched on the right side, but I've gotten full distance on 2 shots, and that's really all you can ask for on this hole.
Clay going with the little forehand flex here to try to get up to that gap. And I think he got some distance enough to be able to attack the pin from where he's at. And Joel just smashes this. I didn't feel like he threw it that hard to get up there, and it just kept going.
Yeah, as he's sitting just outside circle one, it looks like. It just goes to show, like you said in round one, he just has that sneaky power. You don't notice it until you have a shot like this.
Yeah, and I actually just chose to land short. I had a tree on my back, so just pitch up and get your par.
Clay looking for a hero throw, trying to get himself into range to save par from the ditch, but fortunately catches a branch and comes up to about 60 short or so.
That's a tricky putt to run. Mark, are you going roller here?
Yep, I'm throwing that really flippy roller, trying to sneak it inside that first tree, which I do, and unfortunately, I leave it a couple degrees too flat, and it rolls all the way down to the short pin position. And I'm left looking up at this with a 120, 150 feet left. And it feels like I'm throwing full power from this spot.
Yeah, it's a tight little tunnel. I haven't been over to the left. This does not look that fun.
Yeah, I got fortunate to have a nice clean gap the whole way, and I'm able to flip a little berg shot up there. But from where I was after two, it's really disappointing to not have a look for birdie on this hole.
Yeah, so here I am again, trying not to throw onto these structures. I was telling these guys I have trauma from these structures a year ago. Everything seemed to like hit these rocks and stand up and roll. So I try to stay away from them, just make 10 to 15 footers.
Yep. I think you ended up landing flat on that one there.
Yeah, which was not the idea of what I was going for. So Joel's got a putt here for birdie. This is probably just outside or just inside.
Yeah, it's just low off the cage.
Which is slow. He's going to lose one here, but like I said, it's okay to lose one as long as you don't lose 2, 3, or 4.
Yep. Hole 11 ended up playing as the second hardest hole on the day at 0.63 strokes over par. So seeing these par saves is not an unsurprising feat on this hole. The hole only gave up 2 birdies on the whole day.
Yeah, it is definitely one of the holes that you're definitely taking strokes on the field.
Yep.
All right, hole 12 here. Another par 3. We're going downhill. We're actually going to take the right gap in this video, but most people are going to go left and try to just kind of flex something and then fight back to the basket. Again, it's way downhill. It's going to be hard to get your disc to stop right next to it. But if you can get it to stop, it's one that's going to take strokes on the field again.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, a lot of courses, it seems like the par 3s are some of the holes that you expect to get a little bit more. And here at North Boundary, there's maybe 3 holes on the whole course that you're expecting to get over your round, and this definitely isn't one of them. What are you throwing here, Tony?
I threw an eagle, so I kind of just try to hit the line and hope I hit a tree late. Yep. And I did hit a tree, but it was too late.
Yep. Joel's throwing that stable approach disc that he's thrown the last couple holes and just gets a little too far over on it.
Yeah, and that's the mistake you don't want to make, because hitting that first tree in the gap makes that second shot to get up and down so difficult. Mm-hmm. See, like at least where you got down, you're probably 80, 90 feet for a pitch up that's going to be way easier than where Joel's at. So,
yeah, I rolled over on a little bit too much, and I wish I had just done what Clay did and just throw it a little hyzer, get a little flip up, and watch it slowly drift all the way down. But he still catches a late tree, but a 60-foot look for either birdie or for a layup is much more enjoyable than a 120-footer having to throw a 2 or 3 angle shot.
All right. So Joel, I think, is going to go try to little flex here, but it's such a touchy shot. He doesn't get it quite turned enough. It just ends up short.
Yeah, without the speed that he's been putting on it the last few shots, it just hyzes out a little sooner than he expects.
Yeah.
Go with the
jump up next
layup. To it. Very happy to stick that close to the basket compared to the previous round.
Yeah, and Joel actually pulls a pro move out here, flips his disc upside down, and basically rolls it to the basket. So he tends to do that a lot, I'm pretty sure. He used to putt upside down at one point.
I think he still does inside of 10, 15 feet or so.
Yeah. So, and I'm just pitching up, trying to get my par, and this is scary. And actually kind of checked up. Didn't catch angle, but he's still going to have a tester on this little comeback here for his par.
Yeah, that was good speed control in that run to not be blowing it way past to 40, 50 feet, considering how downhill it is.
So he's going to get his par. He's not going to lose anything here.
Mm-hmm.
And
Clay fighting to hold on.
Yeah, this little 15-footer here. It's a little uphill. I'm taking my time with it. It's a little more uphill than I wanted.
Oh yeah, if you're looking to get some practice for some funky footing putting, just give yourself a round at Nobo and make a few putts from each spot. You're gonna learn.
Yeah, that's for sure. Joel's tapping in a bogey here. He's gonna lose a stroke here, but again, he's got a pretty sizable lead. He can do what he needs to do. So you're tapping in your par, and let's go to hole 13 here. Mark, what do we got?
Hole 13 is the gettable hole on the course. We got a short little sub 300-foot par 3. There's a very clear gap down this left side. You're going to see a lot of the righties throwing this little flex forehand. There's a sneaky inside gap here if you early release, whether you're righty or lefty, but you're essentially looking to throw a soft flex or a flat shot that stalls out, hits this mulch just short of the basket, skips up between these two trees, and gives you a short putt at this elevated basket. If there's a hole to get on the course, it's this one.
Yeah, I would say this is the must get on the course. So I'm going to throw a rock here, and I'm trying to go on the outside gap. And like you said, I just early released it, and it ends up working just the circle's edge.
Yeah, because you get that right to left slope, you get that forward skip and give yourself a circle one putt at that. I'm throwing a pretty overstable Raptor here, and I do the exact same thing. I early release it just a little bit, get a skip forward a little bit, leaving me with just inside the circle putt as well.
Yeah, Clay's going to go with the forehand here. And I'm curious to see if he saw both of our shots, because when he throws this, he holds on to it just a little longer and just kisses a tree and kicks down. So he's going to have a little scramble to get up and down. So Joel is going with a Withers Gator here. Super overstable.
Hits the line exactly how you want.
Yeah, nice little 15-footer for his birdie.
Yeah.
Clay's got a little tricky shot here. I think he's going to go up that right side gap, maybe with a little turn to it. No,
he goes the hyzer.
Yeah. And just pins it perfectly. What a shot.
The course maintaining crew has done a lot of good work on this. Is one of the holes that there's mulch and wood chips all the way out to 30 feet here to really help slow down these discs as they're coming in hot. Without it, pretty much every shot was rolling to some capacity here.
Yeah, that was one I wanted back. It wasn't a bad putt. It was just a little low on the left, and it kind of just popped out. Yeah. But it's sat, so I can't complain too much. So I'm going to have a nice little 10-footer.
I'm lining this putt up and move over to a straddle stance. This tree's a hair in my way more than I want. And I get the first really good feeling putt from distance of this round, and I'm really happy to take a birdie on this hole.
Looks great. Joel's going to get the birdie here. So he's bouncing back after that bogey. Is what you need to do. A little 15-footer here to tap in my par.
Yeah, and even still, we look at this gettable hole, but you can't. The camera's not doing it justice here. Your head is below the base of the basket right now, and you're only 15, 20 feet past it.
Yeah, it's definitely a little tricky, but as you can see, I take my time with every putt, so didn't lose any. I lost a stroke to you and Joel, but I didn't lose anything to Clay, so we're still in a battle for second place.
Yeah, unfortunately, we're at a point where nobody from Chase Card is trying to catch us.
Yeah, and hole 14 here, we got a 599-foot par 4. Basically, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to throw something with a little bit of flip and throw it into the hill and kind of get the push up to here if you can. which would leave you probably 150 feet to the basket, 200 feet to the basket. This is one of the easier par fours on the course. I feel like if you hit the tee shot, the second shot isn't as difficult as most of the other par fours. So as you get turned here, you just catch that tree.
Yeah, but it's the one main tree in the gap that you're looking to avoid. You either need to hyzer before it or flip before, either hyzer before it and finish left, or flip and finish right of it. And unfortunately, I tag it on the wrong side as Joel puts a smash through the woods here, hits nothing, and he's looking at maybe 120 feet approach, but he's chewed off all of like 480, 490 feet there.
Yeah, that's a easy up and down from where he's at. So I'm going with the Wraith, just trying to flip it up, and I flipped it up a little too early.
Yep.
But I got a good kick off the second tree to stay in the fairway.
Yeah, and you maintain the height on the hill, which is really important for the second shot, so you're not throwing as uphill.
Yeah, that is very true. Clay's going with the forehand here.
Yeah, he's done this the last 2 days. Thrown a flippy forehand, moved into the left of that first tree down the gap. I think he early releases this one a little bit, but still, like you said, off the intro, gets himself up onto the hill.
So I'm throwing a Wraith, a little weird footing, and I got it exactly how I wanted to. I just didn't miss that last tree. So I'm going to have a little tough, not really a tough approach, but a lengthy approach to get up and down for my par.
Mark, I'm in the shul on the left here, and I've got this flex forehand that I'm trying to really turn on to try to get myself up to an easy par position. And unfortunately, I roll over on it a little bit again. Seems to be kind of the theme of some of my second shots today, and still got about 230 feet approach shot through some weird gaps after that.
Yeah, Clay has probably like a 10-foot window here. He's just got to hit this little window with, I think, a little bit of flex, and it shapes up perfectly to the basket, and he does it and executes great inside circle for birdie. That's exactly
just outside the bullseye, which is from that position he's going to be stoked about, because I don't think he could see it finish from where he was standing.
Yeah, he definitely couldn't see the basket from where he was.
Yep.
So you're going zone here, and you just caught another late tree.
Yeah, I'm just, like I said, the theme, I'm just kind of rolling over on things a little bit. I don't have my forehand quite dialed in, and just keep pulling everything a little left. You going Invader here?
Yep, Invader, and just kind of getting it to flat. Just push it up there.
Yeah, exactly what you want. Set yourself up for a short putt for par.
Yeah, Joel can see the basket for his second shot, which is insane. From my angle, it looked like it was a run, but from that angle, looks like it was a good layup.
I'm standing here directly behind that little squiggly tree right in front of the basket, essentially trying to throw a hyzer putt right at it, and unfortunately airball right, and
a little roll too. Never.
Always love putting back to back, and another uncommitted putt similar to hole 6 from round 1. Me walking away from this hole with a double bogey, trying not to lose my cool.
Yeah. Taking a par here, not exactly what I want, but I'm okay with it. But knowing that I'm losing a stroke to Clay, I'm kind of like, all right, we got to get it going, because the last 4 holes are not easy.
Yeah, this is arguably the last of the gettable stretch before you move into the holes of doom.
Yeah. So
I know plenty of people who would say the same of hole 13 and would say hole 14 is the hole of doom.
Yeah. All right, what do we got on 15 here?
Hole 15 is the most challenging tee shot on the course, in my opinion. You've got a couple really tight gaps with the specific shapes. You can either fade inside of these trees here or stall out a little early left. The ideal tee shots will carry over this valley, skip up right in between these 2 trees, and land right about where we're standing right now. And you're still left with a 340-foot, steeper uphill than it looks shot with a bunch of different trees in the way to a sloped green. This is by far the most rewarding hole to birdie on the course, because it takes 2 nearly perfect shots to get yourself a circle 1 putt.
Now, Joe's going backhand here. I believe he said he was stealing your play.
he'd been going forehand the previous 2 rounds, and I think he saw the turnover work out and realized that he could get himself potentially a look at birdie.
Yeah, I think the turnover is the play. I would agree with that. And Joel puts himself in a fantastic position. Clay's going to try to copy and paste. He just catches that tree and goes way down the hill.
If you're going to kick a direction on this hole, kicking right is significantly harder to recover from than kicking left.
So
you're further downhill and there's more stuff in the way. As you go this flex forehand and you skip up just short of Joel's, and you're in pretty prime position.
Yeah, it's exactly what I wanted. All 3 days I hit that gap, so I couldn't ask for anything more.
Trying to follow Joel's shot, and unfortunately I just leave it a couple feet too far left, tag a tree, and I'm sitting just in front of the blue tee pad here. At this point, I'm pretty mad. I'm just grabbing something a little stable, throwing it on a flex, and just hoping I get through. And I'm very fortunate to not hit anything on that way.
And that was smashed. That was a great move.
There's a little anger behind that shot.
Yeah. Clay actually with this shot was very impressive to get back to the fairway and advance as far as he did through all those trees was super impressive.
Definitely one of the most impressive recovery shots I saw all weekend.
So I go backhand here. The last 2 days I went forehand. So I was like, I'll throw the backhand, and the backhand actually landed where my forehands landed. So I know
throwing that flippy Reiss?
Yeah, just trying to get it up into the hill.
And as you can see, Joel's drive is incredible here, and he still has uphill footing on not super even terrain with a bunch of stuff in his way. He gets all the power that he needs on it, but just pulls it a little bit. He's going to be looking at a maybe 80, 90-foot layup to tap in for par.
We got Clay going with the forehand here, which is a very dangerous shot because any kind of skip down this hill can lead to a roll. So he's going to have to put a little analyzer on it and kind of use the top of the hill. Yeah, just like this.
Yep.
Use the
throwing
top.
That yarn again, maybe a stall, and it just sticks.
Yeah, that's a great recovery.
Yep.
So he should be tapping in his form.
I'm taking inspiration from Clay's shot here and just be like, oh, that worked for him. I can do the same thing. I'll just throw it flat up left and let it stall out and fall towards the basket. And it works.
That little spot right before the basket seems to be grabbing all the discs.
Mm-hmm.
So he's running this.
Oh yeah, I think he said so afterwards. He was trying to give it a little bit of a go, but I think he was trying to land it a little short, if anything. But
yeah,
he still got to putt well within his range for par. So you lay up there.
Yeah, I thought when I let that go, I thought that was in, but it was just so far down the hill that it never had a chance.
Did you yell "go in" after you threw that?
Yeah, I did 100%. And Joel with a great cleanup for par. So we're gonna have a par frame or a par tee frame is what you call it, right?
Barbecue, whatever the colloquialism that folks like. Hole 15 actually ended up playing right in the middle of difficulty for the course at 0.39 over par. But however, it was the only hole that saw 0 birdies on the day.
Yeah, that's not surprising because it's so far. All right, hole 16, another par 5. So what we're looking here is probably you're going to take this straight gap and you're going to want to miss this leaning tree. Now to the left there is a Mando and you want to land right about here. If you land right about here, there is a left gap that can give you basically the shortcut version of this and get you to about right in here somewhere. And I believe they added a second Mando this year down left, so you can't no longer go down to 15's fairway and play up, which I think was a great addition to make you actually play the hole. So basically, you're going to scramble once you get off the tee shot.
Yeah, and if I'm remembering right, we're that basket in the video there was looking at the B position. The position we're playing today is about another 80 feet farther and a little further up right.
So Joel's going destroyer here and just absolutely mashes this thing. And what trees? There is no trees out here. That was perfect.
He was throwing that disc on this hole and 14 all week, and it was just filleting these gaps.
Clay going with the little forehand flex, gets through the outside gap and lands open away from trees, which I think is the most important thing, is not being pinched up next to trees.
Yeah, this hole is, of all the holes in the course, this is definitely the get a clean tee shot and then scramble for two shots kind of hole. There are some gaps in fairways to hit, but they really only last for about 250, 300 feet. I'm going something flippy here, and unfortunately just a hair too much hyzer. I kick off the leaning tree, and I'm about 40, 50 feet away from the Mando tree. Again, I'm pretty annoyed at this point, and I'm looking to try to advance as far as possible. So I aim for the roller, and I lay down what I thought was something perfect, and unfortunately catch a tree right after it lands, and it just kind of stops.
Yeah, you gave me inspiration, so I figured I was going to try a forehand roller here and just hit this gap, and I just catch the late tree. If I'd have got that down, I feel like I would have really liked the outcome of it.
As Clay takes inspiration from you and lines up a forehand roller of his own, I really think this fairway, despite the roots and rocks that are around on it, I really think the roller is the best chance to consistently advance this fairway.
Yeah, I mean, making the disc skinnier.
Yep.
Just hope you don't hit a tree as Joel lays down a forehand roller. So all of us went forehand roller, except, well, you went backhand roller. But...
yeah, but we all still got the disc vertical trying to advance. Really, the second shot here, if you can advance about 300 feet, you're going to be smiling about it for the rest of the round. You throwing that Hawkeye again?
Yeah, I loved it, and I just a little more flip out of it. Really would have gotten up there, but kicked right. Should be about 200 feet from the basket.
Yep. I ended up in a pretty ideal spot to hit the gap between those two big trees there, and I early released it a little bit, but get just enough flip to get around them. Definitely tensed up after that shot. I was concerned that I was going all the way down the hill and missing the second Mando.
Clay going forehand roller again. Getting a nice little roll out there. Oh, yeah. So I got a tight gap here, and I hit it perfectly, and my disc just never hooked up. But I'm going to be at the edge of circle for my par.
Yep.
Joel's going to flick. Looked like that Withers gator. He was hoping for it to flex out a little bit more.
Yeah, just got a little too much angle on it.
Yeah, catching that right next to me about circle's edge.
And I asked Clay about this shot. I asked why he didn't take the hyzer gap up the middle here, and he just said he was a little too pinched to comfortably not flip it up, and he throws a perfect little flex to just outside the bullseye.
Yeah, as you throw a perfectly straight Berg 150-foot shot. Yep. And I just hung it out a little too long. And that one's going to hurt. That's going to be my first bogey of the round. So yep. I was trying to play bogey free out there.
Yep. And there's another just slightly left putt, just a little. He committed with the speed and the height, but just not on his line. Makes a great comeback putt to save par.
Yeah. He's not happy with it, but par's good. Gonna tap this in here for my bogey.
Yep.
Falling back two of Clay now, because he's gonna have this little 15-footer for par, which is huge. With 2 holes to go, he's got 2 strokes on me. Ooh, with a pump fake.
Yeah, after my putting performance on 14, I was just about ready to not be putting anymore. All right, we're coming into hole 17, our penultimate hole. Plays as a 579-foot par 4, but don't let that short distance conceive you. It's a tricky gap off the tee. It's a long, for the righty backhand, it's a long, slow flipping hyzer flip. And then you essentially need to meet these wall of trees and kind of hope you get through it. If you hit these trees, you've got about a 200-foot approach to a slightly elevated, sheer drop-off green. I'm talking like anything that goes over this green is rolling to 40, 50, 60 feet and beyond. And multiple people on this card have experienced it. You can see it elevated on this nice built-up green. I see Joel here throwing, what is he? I can't tell what he's throwing. I think he's throwing a flippy destroyer of some kind.
Yeah.
Just rolls over on it, gets a little bit of early release, and takes a really tough kick down the hill. Gets fortunate with the late tree to not be all the way down by hole 8's tee pads.
So Clay sees that and holds on a little too long there, but he's getting flight out of it, kind of kicks off to the right. And Mark, what are we throwing?
Throwing that same flippy destroyer, just trying to blast it down this fairway, and I make the same mistake as Clay. Just pull it a little high, a little right. Catch a second tree, fortunately, to stay up on the hill, but I'm about ready to be done with this round.
And I'm throwing a Calvin destroyer that's pretty straight, and I just wanted to hammer it as hard as I could.
Yeah, but you should have saw how to do it.
Yeah, I caught a late tree. Probably would have run another 60, 70 feet, making it a little easier, but I can't complain about it.
Yeah, that where you're sitting at is about position B for drives. For the drives that hit the gap the whole way and then just catch one of those late trees.
Yeah, and that was a great scramble shot from Joel there. Just
Absolutely.
A little forehand flex up to the left side. And you're going roller?
Yeah, I'm going roller. I was looking at this gap, and I just didn't feel comfortable keeping it off the right side with the forehand. So I go for the roller with that really flippy disc, just trying to get 300 feet and curl up so I've got an easy layup to save par.
So Clay here is way to the right, and I think he's trying to throw a flex forehand, yeah. And just gets probably 200 feet and connects with another tree. Yep. So if 200 feet. So I got a little Toro here, and I'm just trying to put it through the gap and let the rest happen. So
get just a hair too much height on that, do you think?
I think I just needed to put a little more power on it.
Yeah, you're still left with what was that, an edge of circle putt?
Just inside circle, yeah.
Yes, the scariest edge of circle putt that exists on this course.
Yeah, and Clay here, I think this is his berg again, finds this little Anheuser flex and puts it to the scariest putt. Absolutely. Just outside circle, looking straight down the hill.
Yep. Joel with a short layup after the incredible recovery shot and just barely overshoots it and rolls to about 50 feet. The camera's not doing it justice. That 50-foot putt feels like an 80-footer.
Yeah, it's so far uphill. You do a little jump putt here, and you hit the rocks and stay.
Oh, no, that was a little scarier than it should have been.
And this is so scary. But this is his par putt, knowing where I'm at. Going to get one. And he just drained that.
No fear at all. If you had any fear,
such a big putt.
That is
it was such a
putt.
Yeah. And then Joel, we don't know what happened right there. He's kind of laughing it off like, what just happened? So
yeah, body mind not committing at the same time.
Yeah, so this is a little scary, but inside circle, needed it. I got it. So
yeah,
cutting it back to one.
Yeah, if there's a hole that you really want to get coming down the stretch here of these last 4 or 5 holes, it's 17. But even then, as a hole you want to get, it still has some teeth. As we see our leader take a bogey here.
You're tapping in your par. That was a good par save from where you are, Mark. All right, hole 18, our final hole. It's a par 4, 742 feet. You're going to want to go straight down this gap. And once we get to about right here, you're going to want your disc to start fading to the left, riding the inside of this hill. If you go over the hill, you've gone too far, you're in the million trees. But if you can land right here, it is a straight tunnel, straight to the gap. And it is, your best drives are probably getting right about there if you use a driver, but most are way shorter than that. You just want to get across to this green to have an inside circle putt to end your round with, hopefully for a birdie or par.
Yeah, par on this hole, definitely not losing strokes.
Yeah, it's a tricky hole here. So
yeah. If you sneak just a hair along of the fairway, there are scrambleable gaps, but if you come up short left, it's very tough it's going to put you in a very tough position to save a par.
So I throw a destroyer here, and I thought I left it a little bit early, this time, but it's still pushed farther right. So I am back in the deeps.
Clay going with something stable and just catches the early trees on that inside gap. Not the worst place to be, but definitely looking for just a couple feet more for to carry before he starts hyzering. And I saw this the heck off. I'm sitting maybe 20 feet away from the short tee pad before Joel.
Yeah, Joel actually, it's a gator 3. He actually held it out and just stayed flat. And he kind of got lucky that the grass grabbed it and he didn't hit that dirt, because if it had hit that dirt, he'd have been way in those trees. Yep. So
I'm looking at this sneaky over the top shot from here. From the white tee pad, it's the play that I've done the last couple times I've been here. Just throw a flex forehand and try to stall it out into the center of the fairway here, and I just pull over on it. Catches the center of the fairway, and I get the no-bow roll all the way down into the thorns.
Yeah, I just wanted to remind you that, hey, we like to roll out here.
Yeah, I can't get away from it, even on the last hole of the round.
So Clay here is going to go with a flex forehand on this inside gap. I'm thinking right between, not where the V is, just maybe to the left of the V. Yeah. And
lays it.
This is insane. How good that shot is. He's probably, edge of circle 2, but from where he was, like, you couldn't have thrown a better shot.
No.
So Joel's got this little bit of a flex here. And
did he kiss the tree right in front of him?
I don't think he did. I think he just kind of held it out. So I went a little long. I got kind of this little forehand flex line. And I hit the line how I want. I just didn't hit the disc line how it should have been. So I just kind of burned it over.
Yep.
But should be an easy up and down from where I'm at.
I'm in the shul here, short left, looking at a similar gap to what Clay was looking at, just trying to throw some kind of flex through it, gain as much distance down the fairway as I can. Similar to a lot of the forehands I've thrown today, I roll over on it a little bit and cut roll to the edge of the woods, about 120 feet away or so. As you see Joel throw his layup here to set himself up for an easy tap in and secure the win.
Yeah, I got about 80 feet here, knowing that I need to make this. I need to give it a little bit of a run. So just kind of floated up there, just never got it turned over. So, but it's up there for my tap-in par.
And hey, it's no-bow. You never know what could happen here. You could get Clay could see some kind of roll away.
It's very true. That is very true.
I'm very annoyed that I somehow avoided the thorns all around until the last hole, and I've experienced them twice. Throw a little chip shot forehand up there to tap in a unfortunate bogey.
And Clay, I think, is given here just maybe a little soft run with the bird. It's not going to go far past it. But
just try not to hit the rock and stand up and roll away.
Yeah. So I'm going to tap in my par here. Seal the third place finish. Joel's going to tap in for the win here. And shooting 17 down. 3 rounds out here. To consistently shoot under par in this place is insane. For the amount of birdies that he gets out here, Clay tapping in for second, is absolutely he doesn't make it look hard, but it's insane what he does out here.
Oh yeah, and you got to see how close you have to get to the trees on some of those drives. It's really impressive to either get the birdie or to not hit anything for the amount of distance that he's covering on those shots.
And he's getting the iron beam, steel beam. So Steel City. Brody Smith has a lot to say about this trophy, but it's fitting for the tournament. So maybe it was the Heinz ketchup they give to him later.
Yeah, it's probably, there it is. probably the Heinz ketchup for his road trip.
So yeah, but outstanding play all week by Joel. We did a bet at the beginning of the tournament to see how many people would finish under par. The over/under was 5 people, and I think 4 people finished under par.
Did you win the money?
4. I did not. I was thinking more people were going to play better, so the field really let me down.
Well.
Speaking of the field, we got the top 10 here.
Good players on that list, still shooting a couple over. So
Western Ohio represent on the top 10, that's for sure.
Yeah, we like our hills.
Yeah. All right, well, that's going to do it for our coverage. Mark and Tony, thank you so much for joining and doing commentary.
Thanks for having me.
Happy to be here, Brian. Thanks for inviting us.
I'd like to thank the Pittsburgh community for coming out all weekend, spotting. You know, it wasn't that big of a field this year, but you guys really showed out, made it feel like a bigger event. I mean, the course was well maintained, just overall a great experience for this tournament. So the Pittsburgh community is one of the best. So I will be back again, that's for sure.
I don't have anything else to add. Tony's thoughts, I want to echo Tony's thoughts exactly. Thanks to all the volunteers. Thanks to Regis and Doug for all their hard work out there. Thank you to Matt Rosier for TD in the event, and for Pittsburgh Flying Disc and the Pittsburgh Disc Golf community for showing up and showing out.
And lastly, I want to say a very special thank you to the Butler County Tourism Convention Bureau. Visit their website at visitbutlercounty.com to experience the best of Butler when you come into town to play disc golf on any of our fantastic courses, including North Boundary Park. All right, that's going to do it for us. So until next time, guys, keep banging those chains.